Chem Hamaya Ki Je Veshveshvari Mati Ki Je. We'll continue with the end of chapter 1. Narayana said, "Now I will mention some of the other parts of Prakriti here. Rohini, the wife of the moon, Sanjna, wife of the sun, Sacharupa, the wife of Manu, Sari, the wife of Indra, Sachi, the wife of Indra, Tara, the wife of Brihaspati, Anurati, the wife of Vashista, Anasua, the wife of Arti, Devahuti, the wife of Kandama, Prasuti, the wife of Daksha, Manaki, the mind-born daughter of the Pitris and the mother of Ambika, Lopamudra, Kunti, the wife of Kuvera, the wife of Varuna, Brita Bali, the wife of the king of Bali, Damayani, Yasoda, Devika, Gandhari, Draupadi, Saibaya, Satyavati, the chaste and noble wife of Briyabhanu and the mother of Radha. Mandodari, Kasuya, Karavi, Sabhadra, Ravati, Satyabhama, Kalinda, Lakshmana, Jambavati, Nanjita, Jiti, Mirabinda, Lakshmana, Rukmani, Sita, and Lakshmi incarnate. Kali, Yoja, Ganda, the chaste mother of Vyasa, Usa, the daughter of Bana, the Sati Mahabhati, Renuka, the mother of Parasurama, Rohini, the mother of Balarama, Ekananda, and the sister of Sri Krishna, Sati, Durga, and many other ladies are the parts of Prakriti. The village deities are also the parts of Prakriti, and all the female sexes everywhere in the universe all come from the parts of Prakriti. So to insult any woman is to insult the Prakriti. If one worships a chaste Brahmin woman who has her husband and son living with clothing and ornaments and sandal paste, etc., one worships, as it were, Prakriti herself. If any Vipra worships a young girl, 8 years old, with clothing, ornaments, and sandal paste, know that he has worshipped the Devi Prakriti. The best, middling, and worst are all sprung from Prakriti. Those women that are sprung from Sattva Guna are all very good-natured and chaste. Those that are sprung from the Rajas Guna are middling and very much attached to worldly enjoyments and do their selfish ends. And those that are sprung from the Tamasic Guna are recognized as worse and belonging to the unknown families. They are very scrupulous, cheats, ruining their families, fond of their own free ways, quarrelsome, and no seconds are found equal to them. Thus I have described to you the nature of Prakriti. So in the Punya Bhumi Rata Varsa, to worship the Devi is by all means desirable. In days past by the king, Saratha worshipped the Mula Prakriti Durga, the destructress of all evils. Then again Sri Ramachandra worshipped her when he wanted to kill Ravana. Since then her worship is extant in the three worlds. She was first born as the honorable daughter of Daksha. She destroyed the whole host of demons and Danavas. It was she who, hearing the abusive words uttered against her husband at the yagya by Daksha, her father, gave up her body, and took up later again her birth. She took her birth in the womb of Menaki and got again Pasupati as her husband. And of the two sons, Kartika and Ganesh, born to her, Kartika was the Amsa part of Narayana, and Ganapati was the Sri Krishna himself, the Lord of Radha. O Devarsi, after the two sons, Lakshmi Devi, came out of Durga, Mangala Raja, the king Mars, first worshipped her. Since then, all in the three worlds began to worship her, whether they are devas or men. The king Ashvapati first worshipped Savitri Devi, and since then the devas, munis, all began to worship her. When the Devi Sarasvati was born, the Bhagavan Brahma first worshipped her. Next, the great munis, devas, all began to worship her. On the full moon night, on the month of Kartika, it was Bhagavan Sri Krishna, the highest spirit, that worshipped first of all the Devi Radha. Within Rasa Mandalam, the enclosure within which the Rasa Leela was performed, the circular dance in the region of Golika. Then, under the command of Sri Krishna, all the gopas, the cowherders, gopis, all the boys, girls, Sarabi, the queen of the race of the cows, and the other cows, all worshipped Radha. So since her worship by the inhabitants of Golika, by Brahma and the other devas, and the munis all began to worship ever Sri Radha with devotion and incense, light, and various other offerings. On earth she was the first worshipped by Suyajna in the sacred field of Bharat Varsa under the direction of Bhagavan Mahadeva. Subsequently, under the command of the Bhagavan Sri Krishna, the inhabitants of the three worlds began to worship her. The munis, with great devotion, with incense, flowers, and various other offerings, worship always the Devi Radha. O child Narada, besides these, all the other Devis that have issued from Prakriti Devi are all worshipped, so much so that in the villages, the village deities, in the forest deities, and in the cities, the city deities are worshipped. Thus I have described to you all, according to the Sastras, the glorious lives of the Devi Prakriti and her parts. What more do you want to hear? Here ends the first chapter on the description of Prakriti in the 9th book of the Mahapuranam, Srimad Devi Bhagavatam, of 18,000 verses by Maharishi Veda Vyasa. Jai Mahamaya ki jai, Vishveshvari Mata ki jai, Bole Baba ki jai.